Hey, hi there. I want to talk about video games real quick. I know, like, big surprise, but I kind of want to inject a little positivity here to the conversation because 2017 seemed like a pretty terrible year for video games, right? You look at comment sections, you look at everything, and everything is terrible. But I kind of want to look back at why I think it was good. Because, look, it was kind of rough, all right? The new Mass Effect was ultimately a disappointment, at least for me and a lot of other people. Battlefront 2 looked like it could have saved us, and it was the chosen one. And, you know, it kind of just was a stinker in some ways. It seems like more and more publishers are doing a lot to just try and get money from us. A lot more games are being released that are in a buggy or imperfect state. And not only that, there's all this weird stuff now with consoles that aren't necessarily new consoles, but they're half steps. There's a lot going on this year, but there's a lot that really made me happy, and I think it made a lot of you guys happy too. First and foremost, let's get it right out of the way. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds was a big deal this year. Even if you don't like it, this game is influencing a lot of change in some multiplayer genres, and I think that's a good thing because it is a fun mode, and I like to see other developers kind of get their own spin on it. Thanks to PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, it kind of embraced that whole Battle Royale thing and bounced back. The base game that you would pay for Fortnite was fine, but Fortnite Battle Royale is 10 times better, and I'm happy to see that game succeed. But overall, the whole PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds Battle Royale thing, the game is obviously a massive success. It's sold like well over 30 million units on PC. 30 million players, that's a lot of people playing one video game, and if you think about it, it's even crazier that there are 30 million people playing on PC. I think this is a win for PC gaming, even if you don't like this game, just because think about how many people that is. PC gaming has been on the up, but PUBG really is helping usher it into mainstream conversation again. I judge like casual people I know who are now coming up to me saying, "Hey, what's the deal with this PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds game? This game looks great. I watched this guy play it on Twitch. I think I might build my own PC. Can you help me?" The amount of times I've had that conversation is awesome. I'm so down with that. Like the fact that people are jumping into this is really cool. I also feel like this year we got a little bit of closure with Half-Life 3. I mean, not really, but the guy, one of the big writers behind the games at Valve, finally left Valve, and then he did that whole paste bin dump that was essentially kind of like a weird note from Gordon Freeman, kind of like alluding to his journeys that they had written out, what was essentially Half-Life 2 Episode 3. So for me, knowing kind of vaguely what the plot will be like, and if you don't remember this story, I'll link it in the description, but just knowing that and hearing that just gives you a little bit of closure, because I know we're never going to get Half-Life 3, but at least we got this. At least we got something this year. I think that's nice. Not only that, we have to talk about Nintendo now. If you're not a Nintendo fan, I get it. But I think we've all been really hard on Nintendo because a lot of us grew up with them and we want to see them succeed. And the Wii U era was rough. But now we have the Switch and things are kind of coming back. The Switch has been my favorite new console thing this year to play with. I'm lucky. I'm very fortunate with my job. I'm able to kind of like play with everything and see what I like. And I just keep coming back to the Switch. And that thing, I think the amount of hours with weird games and full title games that I have played on this thing and the amount of time I've spent on it, I think it has absolutely earned its price back in the amount of fun I've had with it. But enough about me. This is actually becoming a bit of a success story for Nintendo, and I think that's worth getting excited about. Yeah, I mean, it's weird to get excited for a corporation making tons of money off of us, yes, but I like to see Nintendo bounce back. And judging from the amount of Nintendo Switches that have sold and the speed at which they are selling, makes me happy. Yes, it's an underpowered console that does have flaws. They're not the cutting-edge AAA huge games, but they are fun games. Mario Odyssey, Zelda Breath of the Wild, these games are so good. ARMS, all the indie games on the platform, making it almost like a weird new PlayStation Vita as the portable place to play indies, is great. Not only that too, we got to see this new Nintendo flex its muscle and really try and push into the mobile sphere with, we got Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. I don't play it, but I did play a lot of Fire Emblem Heroes. That's a thing. And Nintendo announced they're making another fucking Metroid Prime game, something I never expected. And they made a game with a third-party studio, with Ubisoft, with this Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. It was actually good. It wasn't a disaster at all. This is a weird new future for Nintendo, and 2018, I'm so curious to see where it goes and what they do. I hope they got more things on the horizon because the Switch had a really good first year with a lot of good titles. So I'm ready to see what they got next, and I really hope they keep the momentum, you know? But now with all the gloom and doom and everyone talking shit about microtransactions and DLC and every game is horrible and everyone's gonna boycott anything, I do think it's a good thing because now these practices are finally getting wholesale 100% full-time scrutinized. People are watching these things like hawks. Not only us, the players, who are very vocal and not buying these things in many cases. Sometimes the sales figures actually reflect the opposite. But the fact that this has garnered mainstream attention, not only from the media, but also politicians, means that this is a topic of conversation that is worth having. And I'm curious to see what 2018 is going to be, because I think this year, 2017, was the year where publishers really tried to push it as far as they could. Battlefront 2 had a couple of little moments that were great about it, but ultimately the game was structured like a free-to-play iPhone game. There are other examples this year too, like Need for Speed. They're doing the same thing, and other studios are trying to do things, and it seems like things are kind of changing. I don't want to say that yet. I don't want to go as far as to say that, because there is still a lot of money in all this extra purchasable content, but I think there has to be a new compromise, a new way for these people, these corporations, to make more money off of us while also not sucking about it, you know? Does that make sense? But the fact that they pushed so hard this year and the world pushed right back gives me hope for the future with games and the way this stuff goes. I'm really keeping an eye on it, but I'm excited to see what goes down. Now, there are still tons of other things to talk about this year that were great in games. I think everyone out there got at least one game they are absolutely in love with. When you see people comment and say, I hated every game that came out this year, you're full of shit. I think you're absolutely full of shit. I'm sorry. Why am I attacking you? There was bad stuff this year, but there was a lot of good stuff this year. So I do want to hear how your 2017 turned out in video games. Let's talk about this stuff. You know I'm down in the comments, but you know I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Jake Baldino. Thank you as always for coming around and listening to me ramble on this channel. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to 2018 with you guys, but it's me, Jake Baldino. Thanks for watching. You should subscribe because video games.